Hi everyone, welcome back to Tech Tricks and Fundamentals. My name is Yash and today I'll be teaching you how to install and set up a Python environment on your PC. So first up, what you want to do is you want to head over to python.org. This will be linked at the bottom of the video in the description, so don't worry. You'll be greeted with this page where there's information about Python, and at the top, if you see near the middle, there's a Downloads tab. So what you want to do is you can either click this button, Download for Windows Python 3.11.1, or you can click Downloads and it'll take you to python.org/downloads. Here you can see a little bit about each Python version and what it brings and when it was released. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll be led to specific releases where you can download any specific release you want, ranging from, in my case, Python 2.0.1 all the way from Python 3.11.1. This will vary when you're watching the video. So what you can do is either go to the top and download the latest version for Windows, which is 3.11.1, or you can scroll down a little bit and pick whichever release you want. In our case, we'll head over and download Python 3.11.1. So you just want to click that and it'll take you to this page. In our case, we'll be downloading Python 3.11.1. So either you can click this and download for Windows, Linux, macOS, or other, or you can head over here and click this. So we click this and you'll be led to a page with all the information about Python 3.11.1. You have some changes, your other changes, and some resources. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll be led to files. Here in files, you have every single file related to Python 3.11.1. And over here, you can see you also have Python for macOS 10.9 and later. You just click this. But in our case, we're using Windows. So we just want to select all these Windows one, and we can choose whichever one to download. Since this one's recommended, you just want to go over to this one, click the recommended one, Windows Installer and 64-bit, and you just click this file. Over here, it'll take you to wherever you want to download it, and what you want to do is click Save. Once Python is downloaded for you, you just want to open your downloads folder and run the installer. When you run the installer, something similar to this should pop up. It'll say install Python, your version number, and the 64-bit. And so before we want to install now or customize installation, you want to make sure you add python.exe2 path. This is very important if you're using anything like outside Python in terminal. So you want to make sure this is always included, or you might have to do it manually. But to save your hassle, just make sure you do it off the rip. You click this, and then now you are free to click install now. It'll give you a few prompts, and you just answer those prompts and do what it tells you to. I won't be clicking this button since I already have Python installed, but in your case, if you don't have it installed, which I assume you don't because you're watching this video, you want to click install now and follow the steps. Now that we have Python installed on our computer, you have two options. You can either use the built-in IDE to program using the built-in Python tools, or you can download a text editor like Notepad++ or Microsoft Visual Studio, or whatever you prefer. In our case, we're going to be going with Microsoft Visual Studio. So you want to head over to code.visualstudio.com. Again, this will be linked in the description at the bottom of the video, so don't worry. So now you're at the Visual Studio Code website. Here you can see it has information, reviews, everything you want, and you can either click download. Now it's time to download. You have three options. You can click download from the top here. You can click this arrow to download for Mac OS, Windows x64, or Linux x64. And for all of these, there's insider editions with a few extra features, but it may be buggy, or you can download a stable release that everybody else uses. So we just want to head over and click this one, or this one. You have three options. Once you click download, it'll automatically take you to the get started page. Here you can see it has all the information, and it should also pop up this window asking you to download it. So you just click save, and as you can see, it should start downloading your Windows. While it's downloading, you can read documentation, and you can also learn about a few extensions for code, such as Python, Jupyter, Pylon, C, whatever. Now that you've done this, you're going to click this, and once it opens the setup, you make sure you click I accept the agreement and make sure you actually read the agreement. After you're done reading the agreement, click next. And here you can choose if you want to create a desktop icon. You don't have to click this. You make sure this keeps add to path is enabled. And if you want, you can click a desktop icon. And then you just want to click next. And it says ready to install. And as soon as you click this install button, it'll start installing. Again, in my case, I already have this installed. So for you, what you want to do is click install and go through the prompts and make sure it installs perfectly. Now that you have Visual Studio installed, you want to head over to your Windows and find the Visual Studio where it's installed and you want to run it. You open your Visual Studio Code application, and as you can see, it opens something like this. So for you, it'll look something like this. So the first step you want to do is you want to click File over here, and you want to click New Window. So this will open a new window in case you already have something here, like a start file or anything. So you can go ahead and close this, and you can have this. Then if you look over to your left, you'll see 6 different options. First is your Explorer, which can use to open folders and clone repositories and all the fun stuff. You can search for anything and you can either replace. You have your source control, your run and debug options, your extensions, and your Jupyter Notebook. So what you want to do is click extensions, and over here you can search for any extensions you want and install those. So what you want to do is install these few extensions. You want to make sure you always have those with you. So first you click Python. So what you just want to do is you search up Python, click enter, and the first one, if you go here, you can click an install button, which is over here, which will install the extension for you, as you can see. And this will take you to all the steps you need to do. So to set up your environment, you want to click over here, you want to click Python 3.9 or whichever one. In our case, we installed 3.11.1, and you don't have to do these. That it'll install automatically. So once you have Python installed, the next you want to install is Pylance. Once again, you just search up Pylance in your marketplace, and these are all free, by the way, so do not worry. And you just click installed and it'll install again. So this, as you can read over here, it works along with Python and Visual Studio to provide extra information while you're coding, which just makes your life much easier. So you can pick whichever ones to install. I would recommend installing Python, Pylance, Jupyter Slideshow, Jupyter Cell Tags, Jupyter, Isort, Excel Viewer, CodeRunner. And these you can CMake tool, CMake and C/C++ you can use if you're coding in other languages such as C and you're making new projects. So once you have all your extensions sorted out, our last step is make sure Python runs. So you're going to go to your Explorer, you want to click Open Folder, and this will take you where you can create a new folder. So you can go to your desktop, you can click New Folder, and you can name it Python. You just want to click Select Folder, and it'll open up the new windows with your Python folder loaded up here. Inside this folder, if you hover over these, it'll show you can either create a new file, create a new folder, refresh the Explorer, or collapse the folders. So if you want to create a subfolder, like let's just say this is our first folder, so we want to say this is our test folder. So here we have a folder inside our folder. And inside this folder, if you want to create a test file, so you want to click New File, and you want to make sure you type test.py. The .py tells your environment that you're going to be running a Python file. I'm going to click Enter, and over here you have your file open, and if you see down here, it'll show you your Python version. In my case, I have Python 3.7.9 installed, but for you, you have Python 3.11.1 installed as we did, or whichever one you chose, and that will show up here. Over here in your test folder, if initially you just wrote test file and you didn't put the .py and you clicked enter, it would take you to a text file. the extension would be .txt, and whatever you type will not work. So if you type here, it'll just treat it as plain code, since you can use it's a text editor basically, right? So you can also use these for other languages if you're working. So you can create a test.c file, or you can create a test.java file, whichever one you wish. If you don't put anything, it's just going to be the same. As you see here, we write hi, and you create a new file, which is testfile.txt. You have the same thing. These are both the same thing. So what we want to do is click test.py, and we want to run here. So here we're just going to run a very simple program just to make sure Python works. So you want to start off by writing print. You're going to open your parentheses, your apostrophe, and then inside here you can type whatever message you want to be displayed. So in our case, we can write hello world. And you want to close apostrophe, which are already included. And here we have our first program. So now make sure if this white dot is displaying over here, that means you haven't saved your program. And if you run it, you're not going to be running anything because the program thinks it's empty, right? So you click Control S, or you can go here and click File, and you can click Save. And since the white dot has disappeared from here and here, as you can see, if you change anything, there's a white dot both places. Once the white dot has disappeared, you click Run, and in our terminal, we see Hello World. So there you have it. We have installed Python, we've set up an environment, and we've made our first program. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment down below. I'll make sure I respond to every single comment. And make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want more Python content. Next time, we'll be creating new projects and we'll be learning further Python. Thank you for watching the videos, and bye.